Welcome back. It's now time for the business day. Global fertilizer prices are rising following the war in the Middle East, adding pressure to the agricultural sector. However, the government is considering measures to cushion the impact on farmers. Deidre Thomas tells us more.
In the first week of the conflict alone, global fertilizer prices surged sharply. The cost of urea, a key ingredient used in most fertilizers, rose by about 30% at a major United States trading hub. And within weeks, prices had climbed even further, reaching levels more than a third above what they were before the war. In some cases, shipments were being sold for as much as $850 per ton. Agriculture Minister Floyd Green says although Jamaica has not experienced any disruption in fertilizer supplies, he admits the country is vulnerable to sharp increases on the international market.
However, the reality is that the inputs that go into fertilizer are things that are traded on the world market, and the prices have gone up. So, for example, we've seen increases in nitrogen prices, we've seen increases in potassium prices, and that makes an impact. So while we have access, there has been increased price, and we have seen some of that being passed on to our farmers. In fact, we would have met with our major fertilizer supplier, and they have cauterized that as much as possible.
He says discussions are underway with the island's major fertilizer suppliers to cushion the impact as much as possible.
So when we look at the extent of the increase on the world market, that has not yet been passed on to our farmers. So that is a positive thing thus far.
To help farmers cope, the ministry is also shifting focus towards more crop-specific fertilizer formulas aimed at reducing unnecessary spending. Rather than relying on broad traditional fertilizer blends, Minister Green says new formulations are being developed for specific crops such as yam and banana cultivation. The government is also leaning on international partnerships for support.
We've had a very good relationship with the government and the people of Morocco, right? And we have in the past reached out to them to provide support for us in terms of fertilizer, and they're going to provide some support for us during this time in terms of fertilizer.
But farmers are not the only ones under pressure. Fisherfolk, already battling high operating expenses, are also being squeezed by rising fuel prices linked to global market instability. To ease the burden, the government plans to establish fuel depots in parishes where fisherfolks currently travel long distances to access fuel.
Starting with Trelawney and Portland, and we're going to be looking at some novel solutions, including mobile solutions, right? So again, the closer you bring it to the fisherman, the cheaper it is because you don't have those transportation costs. Not much we can do on the actual cost of fuel right now, but part of what we've been doing is training our fishers in terms of, one, the engines that they're using, ensuring that they're more efficient, helping our fishers in that regard, helping them in relation to some of the other implements that we have more control over, right, to reduce the cost in terms of things like fishing wire, right, that will help them.
If approvals are secured, those mobile operations could begin rolling out within the next 2 to 6 months. Deidre Thomas, TVJ News.
To the stock market now, the JSE index advanced by 995 points, while the junior market index declined by 39 points. The winners include Omni Industries, One-on-One Educational Services, Cygnus Credit Investments US dollar shares, Guardian Holdings, and Express Catering. The losers include Edufocal Limited, Paramount Trading, Elite Diagnostic and Iron Rock Insurance Company, and Deramont Trading Company. 16 stocks traded firm. Foreign exchange trading ended with banks and cambios selling the US dollar for an average $159.19. The Canadian dollar is being sold for $116.43. The pound is going for $216.89, while the euro is selling for an average $188.84. And that's it for the business day. News from overseas after the break.